Hi, I'm Ren. Most brides remember their wedding day as the happiest day of their lives. Mine is memorable for entirely different reasons. The ceremony had been perfect. My husband Derek squeezed my hand as we exchanged vows under a canopy of twinkling lights. It wasn't until the reception that everything fell apart. "You look absolutely stunning," my best friend and maid of honor Jasmine said as we stood near the refreshment table. Her bright red hair was styled in an elegant updo that complemented her emerald green bridesmaid dress. "Thanks, Jazz. I still can't believe today actually happened. I keep thinking I'll wake up," I replied, adjusting my lace veil. "Well, believe it, Mrs. Coleman. You married the best guy I know," she smiled, grabbing 2 champagne flutes from a passing waiter. "Derek hasn't taken his eyes off you all night." I glanced across the room to find my new husband chatting with his college roommate, catching him stealing glances at me. He winked when our eyes met. "I got lucky," I admitted. "Not everyone sees it that way," Jasmine muttered, her smile faltering. "What do you mean?" She hesitated. "Nothing. Forget I said anything. This is your day." "Jazz, what is it? Tell me." "It's just, I overheard Derek's mom talking to your new sister-in-law earlier. She seemed upset." Before I could press further, the distinct sound of glass shattering caught everyone's attention. My mother-in-law, Vivian Coleman, stood near the wedding cake, a broken champagne glass at her feet. "I'd like to make a toast," she announced, her words slightly slurred. The room fell silent. "To my son, who apparently couldn't wait to throw his life away." Derek immediately moved toward her. "Mom, this isn't the time." "When is the time, Derek? After she traps you completely? After she ruins your life?" Vivian's voice rose with each question. Her perfectly coiffed silver hair and designer dress contrasted sharply with her reddening face. I approached them slowly, aware of the horrified guests watching the scene unfold. "Vivian, I think you've had enough champagne. Why don't we step outside?" I suggested quietly. She turned to me, eyes narrowed. "You think you're so clever, don't you? Seducing my son, rushing this wedding. What's next? A surprise pregnancy to seal the deal?" "Mom!" Derek looked mortified. "That's enough!" "No, it's not enough! She's not good enough!" Vivian shouted, then suddenly lunged toward me, shoving me hard. I stumbled backward into the wedding cake table, barely catching myself before toppling the 5-tier masterpiece. The room gasped collectively as Derek's father, Robert, rushed forward to restrain his wife. "Vivian, stop this immediately," he demanded, his normally calm demeanor replaced with stern authority. "Get your hands off me," she hissed, struggling against his grip. My brother Alex stepped between us. "I think you should leave, Mrs. Coleman," he said firmly. "This is a family matter. Stay out of it," Vivian snapped. "She is family now," Derek's sister Eliza interjected, surprising everyone by approaching me. "And you're embarrassing us all." "You too? Has everyone lost their minds?" Vivian looked around wildly. As security escorted Vivian out, with Robert following behind, Derek pulled me into a corner. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, his face pale. "I had no idea she would do something like this." "Has she always felt this way about me?" I asked, fighting back tears. Derek hesitated too long before answering. "She's just protective." That wasn't protection, Derek. That was hatred. The rest of the night passed in a blur. Later, as we prepared to leave for our hotel, Jasmine pulled me aside. "Ren, there's something you should know," she said, her voice low. "This wasn't just a drunk outburst. Vivian's been telling people for months that you're only with Derek for his family's money. She's been spreading rumors about you to anyone who'll listen." I felt my stomach drop. "How do you know this?" "My cousin works at her country club. She's heard it all, including Vivian's plans to make your life miserable enough that you'll leave Derek on your own." As I looked across the room at my new husband, I realized our marriage was already at war, and I hadn't even known I had an enemy. The honeymoon was surprisingly wonderful despite the wedding disaster. Derek and I agreed not to let Vivian's behavior overshadow our time in Hawaii, but reality waited for us back home, rearing its ugly head at our first family dinner. Derek tells me you're looking for a job in marketing, Robert said kindly as we sat around their formal dining room. The Coleman family home was an imposing colonial in the wealthiest part of town, filled with antiques that I was terrified to touch. Yes, I have a few promising interviews lined up, I replied, trying to ignore Vivian's scrutinizing gaze from across the table. How convenient that you waited until after the wedding to mention you're unemployed, Derek tensed beside me. Mom, Ren just graduated. We discussed this. I'm just saying most people secure employment before taking on major life commitments, she replied smoothly. Eliza cleared her throat. Actually, I think it's smart. The job market is competitive. Better to focus on one major life change at a time. Vivian's eyes narrowed at her daughter. When did you become so practical? Last I checked, you were changing majors every semester. We're not discussing me right now, Mother, Eliza shot back. I changed the subject. The garden looks beautiful, Vivian. Those roses are stunning. Yes, well, some of us put effort into maintaining beauty and order, she replied, glancing pointedly at my simple sundress. After dinner, I excused myself to use the restroom, taking a wrong turn in the massive house. I paused outside what appeared to be Robert's home office when I heard Vivian's voice inside. I've already spoken to the Millers about their marketing position, she said. They won't be hiring Derek's little gold digger. I made sure of that. Vivian, you can't keep interfering, Robert replied tiredly. Derek loves her. He's infatuated. There's a difference. Give it time. She'll show her true colors when she realizes the trust fund isn't accessible for 10 more years. I backed away quietly, heart pounding. The next day, I met Jasmine for coffee. She's actively sabotaging my job prospects, I explained, still in disbelief. Jasmine frowned. That's crossing a line. Have you told Derek? How? Hey, honey, I was eavesdropping on your parents and discovered your mom is destroying my career opportunities. He already thinks I'm overreacting about the wedding. You need proof, Jasmine insisted. Something concrete he can't dismiss. 2 days later, Eliza unexpectedly called me. Can we meet for lunch? Somewhere private? We met at a quiet cafe across town. Eliza looked nervous, continuously checking her phone. I need to show you something, she said, sliding her tablet across the table. Mom doesn't know I have access to her email account. I set it up for her years ago, and she never changed the password. I scrolled through dozens of emails Vivian had sent to local businesses, family friends, and social contacts. Each contained thinly veiled warnings about me, suggestions that I was untrustworthy, ambitious in the wrong ways, possibly with a troubled past. There's more, Eliza continued. She's planning something for your housewarming party next weekend. I don't know what exactly, but she's been making calls. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Why help me against your own mother? Eliza's expression hardened. Because she did the same thing to my fiancé 3 years ago. Drove him away with rumors and manipulation. I was too weak to stand up to her then. I won't be complicit again. Does Derek know about any of this? He suspects, but he's in denial. Mother has always controlled everything. It's easier for him to believe you're being sensitive than to admit what she really is. As I left lunch, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Your mother-in-law came by Miller Marketing yesterday. Said some concerning things. If you're experiencing workplace harassment, I can help. Sophia Reynolds, attorney. I called the number immediately. How did you get my information? I asked after introducing myself. I'm friends with the HR director at Miller Marketing, Sophia explained. What your mother-in-law is doing isn't just unethical, it's potentially illegal. Defamation, interference with business relationships, possibly even harassment. Can you prove it? With your help? Absolutely. But first, you need to decide how far you're willing to go. The housewarming party was in full swing when Vivian made her entrance, 45 minutes late and carrying a small, expensive-looking package. Our modest 3-bedroom was filled with friends, colleagues, and family, all witnesses to whatever she had planned. Darling, what a charming little starter home, she announced loudly, air kissing my cheek. Though I expected something more substantial with Derek's position at the firm. We wanted something cozy, I replied evenly. Can I get you a drink? White wine. The good kind if you have it. She smirked, clearly doubting we would. As I moved toward the kitchen, Derek intercepted me. Everything okay? Perfect, I assured him with a tight smile. Your mother just arrived. His face fell slightly. I'll talk to her. Make sure she behaves. Actually, I placed a hand on his arm. Let me handle it this time. Confusion flickered across his face, but he nodded. Okay, I trust you. I returned with Vivian's wine and guided her toward the living room where Eliza, Jasmine, and several other guests were chatting. Sophia Reynolds stood near the fireplace exactly as planned. Mother, have you met everyone? Eliza asked too brightly. Most, yes, Vivian replied, eyeing the modest furnishings with thinly veiled disdain. This is my new friend, Sophia, I said, gesturing to the attorney. She's a lawyer specializing in harassment cases. Vivian's smile faltered momentarily. How interesting. Isn't it? I agreed. Sophia was just telling us about a case involving a mother-in-law who tried to destroy her daughter-in-law's reputation and career prospects. Fascinating stuff. The room grew quieter as more guests tuned into our conversation. Sounds dreadful, Vivian muttered, taking a large sip of wine. The really interesting part, Sophia continued smoothly, was the evidence trail. Emails, witness statements, recorded conversations. People rarely realize how much they leave behind. Vivian's knuckles whitened around her glass. If you'll excuse me, I should find Robert. Before you go, I said, reaching for my phone, I wanted to ask about something. You visited Miller Marketing last week, didn't you? Mentioned some concerns about me? Her eyes darted around the room, noting the attentive audience. I may have. I know the owners socially. And Prestige Partners the week before? And the Andersons about their gallery position? I don't see how my social calls are any of your business, she snapped. I played the audio recording Eliza had secretly made. Vivian's voice, crystal clear, telling the Millers I was unstable and had questionable relationships in my past. The room fell completely silent. Derek stepped forward, face ashen. Mom, is that you? Did you really say those things? Vivian's composure cracked. I was protecting you. She trapped you with this rushed wedding. She's after your inheritance. The inheritance I didn't even know about until you mentioned it just now? I questioned. The one Derek has never discussed with me? Vivian turned to Derek desperately. She's manipulating you. Can't you see it? Derek looked between us, struggling with the reality before him. You've been undermining her all this time? I won't apologize for protecting my son, Vivian declared, voice rising. Someone had to do something. By physically assaulting me at our wedding? By sabotaging my job prospects? By spreading lies about me to everyone we know? I stepped closer. That's not protection, Vivian. That's criminal. How dare you threaten me in my son's house? She lunged forward suddenly, grabbing my wrist hard enough to make me wince. Several people moved at once. Jasmine, Eliza, Sophia, but Derek reached us first, firmly removing his mother's hand. That's enough, he said, voice low and dangerous. You need to leave, now. Derek, you can't possibly— I said leave, he shouted, shocking everyone. I've seen enough, heard enough, go. If you side with her over your own mother, you're no son of mine, Vivian threatened, trembling with rage. Derek didn't flinch. Then I guess I'm not your son anymore. Robert appeared, face grim. Come on, Vivian, we're leaving. As they turned to go, Vivian spun back toward me. This isn't over, she hissed, then raised her hand as if to strike me. Sophia stepped forward immediately. Mrs. Coleman, I wouldn't. There are 20 witnesses in this room, and assault charges would be just the beginning of your legal troubles. Vivian froze, then stormed out, slamming the door behind her. The party disbanded shortly after. When everyone had gone, Derek sat heavily on our couch. I had no idea, he whispered. I knew she was difficult, but this— I sat beside him. It's not your fault. I should have protected you. I should have seen it. I took his hand. We can protect each other now. 3 weeks after the housewarming disaster, I sat across from Sophia in her office, reviewing paperwork. The restraining order has been granted, she confirmed, sliding the official document across her desk. Vivian cannot come within 100 feet of you, your home, or your workplace, which, congratulations, is now Miller Marketing. I smiled, still amazed at how quickly things had turned around. They called yesterday. The position is mine. And the defamation case? I don't want to drag this through court, I admitted. The restraining order is enough for now. Sophia nodded thoughtfully. Your choice. But we keep the evidence on file, just in case. Later that evening, Eliza came over for dinner. Since the confrontation, she had become a regular visitor, rebuilding her relationship with Derek and forming a genuine friendship with me. Dad called, she announced as we set the table. He's moved out, staying at the lake house while they figure things out. Derek paused, plate in hand. Seriously? After 40 years of marriage? Apparently, the housewarming was his breaking point too, Eliza explained. He said he's watched her destroy relationships for decades, but seeing her attack you physically twice, that was different. How's she taking it? I asked. Not well. The country club circuit has gotten wind of everything. Her social standing isn't what it was. The doorbell rang. Derek went to answer it, returning with a stiff expression. It's Mom. My heart raced. She can't be here. The restraining order... She's staying on the sidewalk, he explained. Technically outside the boundary. She wants to talk to you. Against my better judgment, I stepped onto the porch. Vivian stood at the edge of our property, looking smaller somehow. Her designer clothes had been replaced with simple slacks and a blouse. What do you want, Vivian? I called, maintaining my distance. I've come to apologize, she said, her voice lacking its usual sharpness. What I did was inexcusable. Yes, it was. Robert's left me. Eliza barely speaks to me. My friends... She faltered. I've lost everything that matters. That was your choice, not mine. I know, she admitted. I was wrong about you. I see that now. For a moment, I considered the possibility of reconciliation, the easier path of forgiveness. Then I remembered the malice in her eyes as she shoved me, the calculated way she'd tried to destroy my reputation. No, I said firmly. You don't get to apologize now that there are consequences. You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry you got caught. Please, she begged. I'm Derek's mother. We have to find some way forward. No, we don't. You chose your path, Vivian. You get to walk it alone. What about family? What about when you have children? If we have children, they'll know why their grandmother isn't in their lives. We'll tell them the truth, that some people are toxic, even when they're family. Derek and Eliza had come to stand behind me, a united front. Mom, Derek said gently, you need help. Professional help. Until then, this is how it has to be. Tears streamed down Vivian's face. You can't mean that. After everything I've done for you. Everything you've done to us, Eliza corrected. There's a difference. As Vivian turned to leave, I felt no satisfaction in her defeat. Only relief. The war was over. Later that night, Derek and I sat on our back porch swing, watching fireflies illuminate the yard. Are you really okay with this? He asked. Cutting her off completely? I think it's necessary, I replied. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Sometimes the healthiest thing is to walk away. I never thought I'd stand up to her like that. I leaned against his shoulder. You chose us, our family, the one we're building. No regrets? None, I assured him. We've both learned something important. That real family protects each other, supports each other, believes in each other. And sometimes the family we choose is stronger than the family we're born with. He squeezed my hand. I choose you, every time. Across town, Vivian sat alone in her empty house, facing the consequences of a lifetime of manipulation and control. And on our porch, with the weight of her interference finally lifted, Derek and I looked toward our future, one we would build on our own terms. What would you do if someone tried to destroy your relationship? Would you confront them or walk away? Comment below with your thoughts. Comment below.